Alright, we're going to take a look at the demonstration for the sheet metal enhancements in SOLIDWORKS 2011. There's a couple enhancements. They seem minor, but they're pretty significant. Let's take a look at what they are. You'll notice down here I have an edge flange. What's unique about this edge flange is I actually customized the sketch right here. Well, that's created a limitation in the past for creating things like patterns. So if I've wanted to pattern or mirror that in the past, I couldn't do that. We can now. You'll notice with linear pattern, and all you need to do is simply select an edge. I set the spacing to 40 and a quantity of 3. And the features you want to grab, they're going to be the tapped hole on the inside and the flange itself. You can see that we fully support patterning those edge flanges now. They're also fully supported by mirror now as well. So when you go to mirror this, just grab one of the instances of the pattern. It'll grab all the individual seed features for you. We can see that that's fully supported. So really nice enhancement. It just allows you to do a lot more with your geometry. The other thing we want to look at is not so obvious what's happening. When we unfold a part, and let's go ahead and do that. One of the first things that's new, let's point this out, is the new sketch that's created. SOLIDWORKS actually creates a blank sketch for you. So this will give you roughly your blank size that you need to create this part out of in order to create that sheet metal component right there. What I want to specifically focus in on is the length of this. This thing's 190.74 millimeters long. We can see that down in the lower right hand corner. And that's calculated based on K factor. K factor basically selects a neutral plane along the sheet metal and it unfolds it. The problem is that can create some issues when you have bends that go over 90 or are not quite 90, and you get all these unique bend scenarios. Well, to get around that, SOLIDWORKS has for years had bend allowance and bend deduction based on if you have an overbend or an underbend or whatever it might be. The problem with a bend allowance or a bend deduction table is the amount of data that's required to be entered. It's based on gauge, material thickness, the bend angle, the bend radius. There's a lot of information that needs to be provided. What we've introduced in SOLIDWORKS 2011 is something new called bend calculations. Before I show it in the interface, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to show you the spreadsheet here. This is based off of the DIN standard 6935. They don't want to, for example, you don't want to bend based on K factor or bend allowance or deduction. You want a formula that specifies it. And we can actually see that here. Now what's unique about these equations is they're not just a static equation. You can see that the equation that it references changes based on whether it's from 0 to 90 degrees, 90 to 165 degrees, or 165 degrees to 180 degrees. Anything else that's not taken into account for there, we can see that it uses another unique K factor. So this gives us much more precise control over unfolding our sheet metal parts. And to specify it, you just need to edit the sheet metal feature in your tree. I'll go ahead and select bend calculation, and you need to specify a folder. Now if you just browse to the demo folder that I've provided, bend calculation will show up in there, and you can see that I've actually put it in my standard SOLIDWORKS location here. We'll go ahead and hit OK. You'll see that it'll bring in the Excel spreadsheet. And now when I flatten this, it's really important to point this out. We can see that it's actually a longer or a much bigger blank. It's 189.64. So you can see that minute differences make a big difference over the course of even 2 bends on this part right here. So great new enhancement, gives people much more control over flattening out their sheet metal parts.